Hey everybody, welcome back to Backlog Banter. I'm your boy Abram, and I'm here by myself to look at the new Donkey Kong Country expansion to Super Nintendo World. I'm very excited to take a look at this. I haven't spoiled myself on it yet. I did just go through the intro so we can get right to the meat of it in this reaction. And as we go through whatever Mr. Miyamoto has for us, we're not only going to be talking about this as the beginning of the glorious return to Donkey Kong supremacy, but we're also going to be seeing if what he says here today, what he shows here for the new part of the park, is going to address any of the issues I have as a goer of Super Nintendo World. I went back when it opened in Hollywood last year, and I thought it was great, but I thought there was a lot of room for improvement in pretty much every dimension of the park, so I'm going to be super curious to see what this looks like. And obviously we are looking at the Japanese version, not the US version, so it's going to be a little bit apples to oranges because the Japanese version of the current park is significantly different than the US park already. But we're just going to see. We're going to see what Mr. Miyamoto has for us. And I'm sure it's going to be awesome because it's Donkey Kong, so how could it not be? Okay, let's watch.
新しいエリアへの入り口ができました。マリオのエリアのスーパーマリオランドからこの先に広がるドンキーコングの世界。
By the way, and we're also going to be pausing this a lot, but by the way, this is further proof positive that Donkey Kong is a separate franchise from Mario. We've known this. We've all known this forever. We've known it in our hearts and in our minds. But the line has been blurred because Donkey Kong has been gone for so long. But having a separate Mario land and a Donkey Kong land, that's important. Bear that in mind.
どんなエリアになっていると思いますか？それでは行ってみましょう。さあ、入り口から入ると、このマリオのブロックの世界から岩肌、ジャングルっぽくなってきましたね。ほら、ドンキーコングのあのリズム、ジャングルビートが聞こえてきました。ここが新エリア、ドンキーコングカントリーです。
Donkey Kong Country. Okay, we're going to pause it right away. Now, we know that this is, and we've known this since it was first kind of rumored that we're going to get this expansion. It's themed around Country Returns, which obviously makes the forthcoming port from Forever Entertainment make even more sense. But this looks sick as hell already. I think Returns has a great aesthetic. It's a great marriage of classic Rareware Donkey Kong Country and sort of a modern feel. So I'm super happy with this. Although I do hope that everyone's favorite villain, King K. Rool, is in the park somewhere, even if it's just merch. So let's have a look.
ドンキーコングたちが住むジャングルの世界が広がっています。あちらに見えるのはドンキーコングの家。そしてその奥にそびえるのは黄金の神殿です。実際に見るとこんな巨大な神殿だったんですね。黄金が眩しく輝いています。では早速エリアの中を探検していきます。
Okay, so one thing before we get to exploring the area that I think that at least the Hollywood version of Super Nintendo World is really not good at is forced perspective and having lines of sight only to park objects. This is something that Disney is really good at. But when you're at Super Nintendo World, like when I was there, you could just see like this big fucking crane in the background. Or you get up to like the second floor of the, like for lack of a better way to put it, overworld area of the park, and you look down onto the animatronics below you, you can like clearly see the tracks they're walking across. There's really not a lot done in the interest of hiding some of that stuff and sort of making it an immersive experience visually. So I hope that this expansion of the park is better about that. And I will say that just having like Donkey Kong's house up above you is going to help a lot with that. I think just sort of forcing more interesting angles and stuff to look in and amongst and giving a more believable environment will be key. Because it's like a truncated, like squished down micro mushroom kingdom in Super Nintendo World, which is cool, but it doesn't feel as cohesive as I think this really could. So let's, Mr. Miyamoto, take us away.
ましょう。メインのアトラクション以外にもいくつかの秘密の場所があります。あちらの方からコンガの音が聞こえてきましたよ。行ってみましょう。はい、ここではドンキーコングのリズムを使ったアクティビティをプレイできます。今聞こえているこのリズムに合わせてコンガを叩いてください。3人で一緒にプレイするので、今日はドンキーコングカントリーのクルーの2人にも協力をしてもらってます。
Okay, I love that they're dressed up in like little safari uniforms. That's fantastic. Also, I do have like literally right over here, so I'll put it on. Oh, I can't reach. There it is. Come on. I have my Super Nintendo World power up band here, so I'll wear this and imagine that I too am tapping this to play the Congo activities, which I'm sure is what you have to do. By the way, as just a sidebar, between this and the Donkey Kong, like what's it called, the showdown minigame in Jamboree where you're doing Donkey Konga Supremacy, I think it's gonna reign once again. I would love a Donkey Konga game. I don't think they'll do it, but Studio 2, Studio S, Bandai Namco, obviously Tatsujin Taiko no Tatsujin Drum and Fun, I think that's a series, right? They still make those games, and obviously Donkey Konga was a spin-off of that, so maybe we get Donkey Konga 4. I would love it. Put better music in if that's real, though. I don't think it is, but if it is, better music.
3人でクリアを目指します。チームワークで頑張りましょう。さあ、このライトに合わせてコンガを叩きます。
This is very good. This pleases me.
Randy が出てきました。
Okay, that's sick as hell, right? Yeah, that's sick as hell. Okay, so animatronics, I love animatronics. Animatronics are one of the greatest things people have ever invented, behind like vaccines and the wheel and the microcomputer chip, things like that. Super Nintendo World doesn't actually have that many of them. There's a lot of like just static character objects moving back and forth along tracks or various things. Like Thwomps, and I think Yoshi did the same. He was just walking back and forth like on a track, and it wasn't super complicated, and this isn't either really, but just having like Rambi pop out, I'm assuming the other animal helpers are going to be around too. That's super sick. I always love to see an animatronic, so that's great.
チームワークがうまくいったみたいで、次に行きましょう。はい。このエリアの中にはこちらのようなアルファベットの文字が書かれたプレートがあります。これは K ですね。さあ残りは何でしょうね。文字を見つけたらこの新しいドンキーコングのパワーアップバンドを。
Now am I gonna have to buy? Well, for me, I'm going to have to buy the new Donkey Kong power-up bands because I can't be wearing a Yoshi band in, right? But I wonder if you need them. Probably not. That would be a major racket that Nintendo's trying to pull if you needed the new bands to do these things. We'll see.
果たして
I doubt it.
はい。これはスーパー・ニンテンドー・ワールドのアプリ上でも記録されてます。これ以外にもパワーアップワードを使って発見できるたくさんの秘密があるので、皆さんで探してみてください。
So for people who don't know, what these bands do is they basically, well, they are literally amiibo. This is just works with Yoshi amiibo, but these are just NFC like readers on what were these called? Slap bands? What you know what I'm talking about? What the fuck was that thing called? I don't remember. But you can tap these to various aspects of the park to perform little challenges. So there's a bunch of really cool examples. There's some basic stuff in the core park where like you tap your band onto like a one-up onto a question mark, an item box, and then you can get like a one-up or you get some coins or whatever. And it's kind of cute. And this stuff gets recorded to an app on your phone. Please excuse the fact that my phone is cracked to shit. And you can kind of track your progress. You can earn stamps. It's very interesting. The bands are most fun beyond just like hitting blocks for some of the more engaged attractions. And by engaged, I don't mean super engaged, but there's this, for instance, there's this one part of the park where you find a Goomba on like a rolling hill log. And if you tap your band there, you can play a little game, right? And if you can knock the Goomba off what it's trying to balance on, you get a key, and enough keys unlock another little area of the park. It's very gamified. It's very cool. It's not a new idea necessarily. Like Star Wars, the Star Wars land at Disney does this as well in a similar way with an app, but this is a merger of this band here and the app. I think Disney has a band too, but I've not been to Disney in a long time. The TLDR is it's cool, and I think the Kong letters is a great way to carry that forward and stay maybe more in universe and sensible to the game. Donkey Kong Country than any of the stuff that you do with the Power Up Band in the core Mario Park is. Because again, it's just like smashing a bunch of Mario aesthetics together. So it's not trying to really pay homage to a single game or series. Since this is very clearly Donkey Kong Country, I think there's more opportunity for things like this where you're getting Kong letters, much more one to one. Sort of here's some just like general Mario type activities you can do with your band. This is great.
もちろんマリオたちのパワーアップワードも使いま
I
すよ。
just waited 2 seconds.
それでは次に行ってみましょう。突然ですが問題です。ドンキーコングの好きな食べ物といえば
Favorite food? I'm gonna say bananas.
何でしょう。そうです、バナナです。このお店ジャングルビートシェイクではバナナの味のフードを用意しました。ドンキーコングが樽
Oh,
を投
look
げ
at that! Look at that! Sorry, I just love this little artwork there. That's beautiful. When I get the DK Crush Sundae, I'm gonna keep this thing right here. I'm afraid you can see my mouse cursor.
て割れる瞬間をイメージした DK クラッシュサンデー、
Oh, it's so good.
そしてお腹が減ったらスペシャルなホットドッグ DK ワイルドドッグです。アボカドのソースがぴったりです。どちらもこのエリアでしか買うことはできません。では次に行ってみましょう。
So the best part of the main Mario part of the park is Chef Toad and his cafe. The food is really good, and it's also just all really nicely themed. Like we got like a little tiramisu that came in a question mark box, like question mark box cookies around it, or you get a burger and it's wearing a little Mario hat and a mustache. So the food theming is fantastic, but one of the big problems with that restaurant is that it's a sit down thing. It's a big ordeal. You have to wait your turn. You can be waiting in line for a long time. And when we got to the front of the queue, I just ordered like everything on the menu so we could just have a bunch of food and we could test it all out. But you're going to be in there for a while, and it's cool because they have these full screens that wrap around the inside of the restaurant, and they're playing like little Toads preparing your food or Toads fucking around or getting chased about. It's all very clever. But you're in there for a while. That stuff starts to repeat. This looks like it's a walk up and grab type of situation, which is great. I think that's a really smart improvement over the cafe, and also a great alternative, right? Because if you were there at Super Nintendo World and you were hungry, the only way you were eating is if you're getting into that Toad Cafe. So if you're waiting for your appointment at Toad Cafe, you can pop over here, grab a hot dog, and go back. So this is a really great, I think, quality of life improvement to the park, in addition to just being some fun themed stuff.
はい、こちらはドンキーコングの家です。ごめんください。おお、これすっごいバナナの山ですね。これ一日で食べるんですかね。すごい食欲やね。
By the way, I just love that this is what Mr. Miyamoto gets to do now, right? He's having so much fun. You gotta love a man having fun, and he's having so much fun. So, bless.
あ、ドンキーコング。
Look at him.
おお、ドンキーコングが来てくれました。元気にしてた？どうですか？このジャングルの住み心地は。
Look at him.
おお、気に入ってるみたいです。ドラミングも絶好調ですね。じゃあドンキーコング、ここで一緒に写真を撮ろうよ。ね。よし。カメラあっち。
Oh, he looks so good.
3、2、1。はい、ここではドンキーコングと記念写真が撮れます。イエーイ。
So there are cast photo opportunities in the Mario part of the park. Also, we didn't get a chance to do them, but they've got Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Toad. I believe that's the four so far, and that's always great. But it's just awesome to see fucking big Donkey Kong here too. I didn't make any real effort to try to take any cast photos when I was there, but I must take a picture of Donkey Kong. That's a necessity for me. So hopefully they got like Diddy Kong and others too. We'll find out.
さあ、
Oh my
次に
God,
来たのは
they're funky.
ドンキーコングカントリーのショップ、ゲームのマップでも見たことのあるファンキーコングのフライ&バイです。
This is also just further testament to what I was saying before, right? The core Mario Park is fun because it's like an amalgam of everything Mario, but because of that, it's a little bit less particular, right? Having Funky Kong's shop be where I'm assuming you're going to buy your merch from is just super super cool. Please, I pray, I beg that there's a Funky Kong uh, uh, crewmate, please, please, please.
世界中でここにしかないドンキーコングのグッズを
I
販
need the
売してい
hat.
ます。
Need a lot
ゲー
of
ム
this
の
stuff.
中ではファンキーコングがいろんなお助けアイテムを紹介してくれるお店なんですが、皆さんもお気に入りのグッズを探してみてください。それでは次に行ってみましょう。やっと黄金の神殿に
The
着き
Golden
ました。
Temple.
この神殿の中にドンキーコングカントリーのライドアトラクションがあります。ドンキーコングといえば暗闇を走り抜けるトロッコですね。トロッコに乗ってジャングルを豪快に駆け抜ける冒険に出発しますよ。では中に入ってみましょう。
Okay, so before we actually go in, and I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of thoughts on pausing here because this is the e-ticket attraction. This is the biggest attraction. Probably gonna be bigger than the Mario Kart ride. And to that point, the Mario Kart ride is cool. We did it, I think, three times or four times when we were there. We were at Super Nintendo World for 2 days. And it's kind of complicated because you have these big AR goggles you have to put on, and you're also like shooting items. It's you're being taken along a track, and they have real built Mario Kart dioramas and scenarios that you're going through, but there's this whole AR level, and the AR dimension of the game, you don't get it on your first ride along. It wasn't until my second and definitely my third time that I felt like I really understood what was going on and could really enjoy it. And that has its charm, and I enjoyed that. But I think that just a proper roller coaster with just some really really good theming is going to be, I think, a much bigger hit with people. And if you're not able to ride multiple times, if you're not there for a couple days, you're not willing to wait in the lines, then I think that something that's just intrinsically is going to be a more fun one and done experience. I mean, I can't wait for this. I'm not good with roller coasters. I get worried that I'm going to die. I really think that when I get on roller coasters, my life is going to end. I'm going to get killed. I do like some roller coasters. The Mummy ride at Universal is scary. It's Jean's one of her favorite rides. She made me go on it with her, and I ended up thinking, man, this is pretty cool. You know, they're taking you forward, backwards. It's dark. You got fucking freaky mummy stuff going on, but I get the appeal, right? Now make it Donkey Kong themed and probably a little bit less scary than the Mummy ride, and I think that's going to be an absolute certified Aaron Buhner banger. But let's see inside.
あ、ここに大きなシャトがありますね。おかしいな、ドンキーコングが先に行ったんでしょうか。とりあえずこの足跡を追いかけましょう。神殿の中に入ってきましたね。さあ進んできました。壁画がありますね。何かみんなでバナナを大事そうにしてますね。特別なバナナなんですかね。
Oh, that's cute. That's cute.
ここにも別の壁画がありますね。なんか見覚えがありますね。あれ？何か話し声が聞こえてきますね。フランキーコングとスコークスが何か話してますよ。
この先のトロッコに乗ってゴールデンテンプルから敵族を追っ払いゴールデンバナナを守ってくれ。頼んだぞ。ゴールデンバナナを守れるかはお前たちにかかってある。
皆さん聞きましたか？
Okay, it's got me cheesing. I can't lie, it's got me cheesing. I love that. Like I said, I love the animatronics. That's super, super cool. And I was about to levy a complaint, and then we saw that and I couldn't anymore. But so this must presumably be here largely to house the queue line to get into the roller coaster. Now it doesn't seem as detailed as the one for the Mario Kart ride, which is exceptional. There's so much little detail because you're going basically into Bowser's castle and you're going through different rooms of the castle, and they put so much love into the set dressing to where even though you're going to be in that queue for a while, like any good theme park queue, it really holds your attention just because there's so much to look at and observe. It doesn't really seem that that's necessarily the case in the temple, even though those murals are cute. But if you have that going on, if you have your animatronics there to pay attention to, I'll just simply sit there transfixed looking at Cranky Kong for hours, probably days.
どうやらさっきの壁画のバナナがゴールデンバナナみたいですね。この神殿に敵族が攻め込んできて大変なことになってるみたいです。さあみんなでゴールデンバナナを守りに行きましょう。先へ急ぎましょう。はい、トロッコの乗り場に着きました。ここから敵トングからゴールデンバナナを守る冒険に出発します。さあ実際に乗るとどんな感じでしょうか。ほんの少しだけですがその様子もご覧ください。はい、トロッコがスタートしました。デクシーコングが何か言ってますね。さあここから神殿の頂上まで登っていきますよ。
Blasting out the barrel, here we
巨
go.
大な樽大砲に入っていきます。今日お見せできるのはここまでです。レールを飛び越えたりスピード感あふれる冒険をぜひ実際に体験してみてください。
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're not gonna do a full ride through. They want you to do that, and then they want you to post it to your YouTube channel, as theme park YouTube does. But yeah, again, more animatronics. I love to see that. And as Mr. Miyamoto is saying right now, obviously the Donkey Kong Country games invite so many fantastic opportunities for really, really, really great gimmicks in the roller coaster. If you actually do jump between rails and shit's falling out behind you, whatever, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be really, really, really cool. So that's looking great.
コースターはちょっと苦手。
Sorry. Ooh, okay, I gotta pause here. That's a great line. I'd even recommend if people aren't particularly fond of roller coasters like me. Now, another roller coaster I really like is the Hagrid one that's outside. I like being outside in theme parks because the other thing is, you know, if I'm on the Mummy ride and the safety bar gets stuck on my lap and they have to like take some time to come in and you know adjust it and lift it up, which happened to me. It's not a hypothetical. It did happen because that ride breaks down quite often. It's kind of freaky being stuck inside, right? And in some ways you think to yourself, okay, I'm going to fly at the top of this minecart and I'm going to die in the open air. But that's not true, and I have to remind myself of that. So being outside over the park with all these big animatronics is great. And it also means that Universal can't rely as heavily, if at all, on screens. Because they do a ton of dark rides. And dark rides, for people who don't know, are more screen-related, simulated interior inside attractions. And the Mario Kart attraction is like, it has elements of a dark ride. But this is going to have very few, I think, if any. Which is great to see Universal not doing that for this, because I will always take the animatronic to the screen, even if something super cool happening on the screen. Super Nintendo World, the Mario part has a lot of screens. I think they're integrated super well, so it's not a huge bummer, but this being more practical is really, really exciting.
という人にもおすすめですよ。ぜひ家族みんなで
I will
楽しん
enjoy
でください。
I will.
いかがでしたでしょうか。ドンキーコングは今から40年以上前に私が初めて作ったアーケードゲームのキャラクターとしてデビューしました。それ以降ドンキーコングは新しいゲーム機が出るたびに進化をしてきました。最初は 2D のドット画で始まったんですけれども、スーパーファミコンではレンダリング動画に、そして任天堂64では 3D へと進化してきました。そして今回は才能あふれるユニバーサルクリエイティブの皆さんの手によってドンキーコングの世界を現実の世界に作っていただき、リアルに体験できるようになりました。ではここでユニバーサル・スタジオ・ジャパンさんから社長 CEO のボニエさんにご登場いただきましょ
う。Look at how good that looks.
Konnichiwa.
By the way, also before this person speaks and presumably ends this little presentation, I just love how open air it is, and I hope that that's the same at Universal Orlando. The Hollywood Park, the Super Nintendo World Park, can feel a little bit cramped. And so having a much more open environment is just going to be really, really, really awesome. And so this is going into the Epic Universe expansion to Universal Studios, which Super Nintendo World is a part of, in Orlando, and they have a fucking massive plot of land set aside for this. So I'm hoping that it's going to feel as airy there as it seemingly looks like it's going to in Japan.
Hello to everyone watching Nintendo Direct. I am JL Bonnier from Universal Studios Japan. Thanks to the strong relationship between Universal Studios and Miyamoto-san and the wonderfully talented people at Nintendo, Super Nintendo World has made countless number of people super energized since its opening. And now I'm very happy to be able to announce the opening date of the new world's first ever area based on the world of Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong Country will be opening on December 11th,
Very cool.
2024.
Obviously in Japan.
And with the opening of the new area, Super Nintendo World will power up and make people even more super energized. We look forward to seeing you here.
はい、2024年のスーパー・ニンテンドー・ワールドはマリオの世界に加えてドンキーコングの世界も一緒に楽しむことができるようになります。さらに来年2025年にはアメリカ・フロリダ州オーランドユニバーサル・エピック・ユニバースにもマリオの世界とドンキーコングの世界を両方楽しめるスーパー・ニンテンドー・ワールドがオープンします。まずはユニバーサル・スタジオ・ジャパンでドンキーコングたちとこの壮大なジャングルでお待ちしていますので、ぜひ遊びに来てください。
That's probably the end, right? Yeah, okay. So before we end, we're going to give some closing remarks, but even before closing remarks, I want to look back at the merch for a second. Show me the
ドン
merch.
キーコングといえば、どうごましょう。
Wait, no.
こん
We gotta go earlier.
なんです。
Go earlier.
世界中でここにしかない
So we got a lot of plush toys. I really want that headband where you got both of them jumping out of the barrels. I'm never gonna wear that, aside from in like a dumb YouTube video, but I think that's really cute and I want that. The big Donkey Kong in that barrel there, I like that. Oh, there he is too. Yeah, I want that for sure. I want that for sure. I don't really need these because I have this here. Look at how cool this is. This is a classic Donkey Kong plush here, right? Now, and this is worth way more than that. This is the OG. This guy's a banger. But what else do we have here? A lot of keychains, more plush that looks like Diddy in a minecart, I think. And is that like a banana behind him or something? I want that too.
ドンキーコングのグッズを販売している。
Oh, I got excited because I saw green, but I think is that? Hold on, I gotta get real close to the camera. Yeah, that's still Diddy Kong. I thought that might be King K, but no. It looks... Yeah, it looks like, at least from that little display of merch, we're not getting any Kremling stuff, which is not super surprising. Obviously, the Kremlings aren't the villain of the ride either, but that's a little bit of a bummer. I really would like to see the Kremlings represented in some way, even if it's just buying a little guy. I mean, King K. Rool, he's relevant. You know, here he is. I got him right here. If he's in Smash Brothers, he can be in the theme park. At least I would say so. Would you disagree? Look at him. Are you going to deprive me of a figure of him? No, you're not. Well, Nintendo might. You can't do anything about it. To give my closing remarks here, let's just, like, go... I don't know. I'll look at the animatronics again just because they're funny. I think that this is going to be really cool. I can't wait to go. I'm really jealous of people in Japan who can literally go next month. I would be losing my mind if I was there and able to do that, but alas. I will wait for it to come to Orlando, and then I'll go to Orlando because I'm not close to Orlando, but I'm not far either. I'm on the East Coast, so I can do that. Yeah, I can't wait. And moreover, I think that it's very exciting that this is happening as sort of a reflection of potential for the overarching Donkey Kong brand, right? Between the theme park, between the prevalence of movies, the Lego sets, and obviously Returns HD, I have no doubt in my mind whatsoever that there's a new Donkey Kong game coming imminently. I would imagine 2026. Probably. I just think that you don't do all of this and not have a real homecoming game in the wings. I don't know who would be making that, but I think that the fact that this is so country themed makes me think that it's got to be Country 6, which would just be outstanding. So we'll see what this means for the larger Donkey Kong universe, but it's just exciting to have all this Donkey Kong stuff happening concurrent. We're obviously just about 2 months away from Returns HD, and even though I've already played that game, obviously I will be there day one, picking that up, and then I'll be at the park opening weekend, and I'll try to do some kind of video about my thoughts on the park. I meant to do one last year when I went to this park, but I didn't because I'm dumb. But Donkey Kong, we won't let that pass us by. So thank you for watching. Thank you for sitting here with me for way longer than the duration of this show. I'm going to let you get back to your life. Do me a favor. Grab your Nintendo Switch from your Nintendo Switch family of systems and play some Donkey Kong Country for me today. And let me know what your favorite Donkey Kong Country game is. Mine is Tropical Freeze. My second favorite is the original. Okay. Goodbye.